It was October 29th, 2009, a date that would forever be burned into my memory, as if some cruel hand had lifted my eyelids and wrapped them shut over a branding iron. October 29th, 2009. It had been a normal day by my 15-year-old standards. At the time I was still attending school, in one of those lucky periods where the symptoms of my CRPS didn't flare up, allowing me to walk as opposed to being confined to my bed for months at a time. The air was light, the wind was soft, a perfectly average autumn afternoon. I hopped off the bus, retrieved my house key, bounced up the 3 steps leading to the door, turned off the alarm, plopped my backpack on the chair in the entryway, breathing in a great big gulp of delicious empty house air. You see, I'm the youngest of 3. Everyone else in the house works. My mum was a registered nurse, my dad an NYC carpenter. My sister was taking culinary arts classes at the community college. I got home from school every day at 2:45 p.m, and my dad was the first to arrive back home from work at around 4:15. An hour and a half of pure solitary bliss. After greeting my dog and cat, I sauntered through to the living room and made my way towards the kitchen. In order to do so, I had to take a left down a very narrow, short hallway, passing first the master bedroom, then my room, and then the basement, which I assured every chance I got was closed. Even though my brother's room was down there, the oldest of our happy little sibling trio, I'd had a lingering sense of trepidation about that area of the house since, well, for as long as I can remember. When I reached the basement door, without looking, I could tell something was off. I could feel the emptiness, the opposite of presence, an abyssal force that seemed to pull me to the side off my feet, ever so slightly, like a bizarre case of vertigo. My heart leapt onto my tongue, my stomach sank into my feet. I turned to face the darkness. The basement door wasn't just open, it was open, like a gaping maw. I don't know what kept me there, staring down into the void. It was as if spikes of catatonic terror bolted my feet to the wood-panelled floors. Teetering at the top of the stairs, wide eyes, lips trembling, hands shaking. I'll be the first to admit that I'm scared of the dark, but this was darkness epitomised, as if the blackness itself had evolved into something bigger, badder, and more horrifyingly unknown. The staircase was shrouded in it. The floor at its base ceased to exist, falling away into a pit of nothingness. And there I stood, watching in an empty house, the late fall sunlight to cast a single ray down to break up the unrelenting black. That's when I saw it, felt it, heard it. No human sense can accurately describe what happened next. It was a black mass, a massive shadow, a swirling maelstrom of dark matter that made the darkness around it seem like a mere child's attempt to capture the artistry of Van Gogh, with naught but crumbling Crayola crayons. The thing had no end and no beginning, no shape, no form, and before I even had the chance to react, it rushed towards me up the stairs at a speed that I, to this day, have found no true comparison. It came at me so fast, so swift that my hair blew back. Just as it began to crest the top of the stairs, some instinctual part of me gripped the edge of the door and slammed it with all the might my petrified arms could muster. It crashed against the door frame with such force that the entire house shook. I wasted no time, pausing only to grab my house key as I ran out of the house and down the street. I had no destination in mind, no goal, no direction. I just remember needing to get out of that house as quickly as possible. I wandered the neighbourhood for the hour or so it took for my father to return home. I said nothing to him. I mentioned nothing to my mother or my sister. Soon as more and more of my loved ones began to flood the house, as dinner was prepared and consumed, and we plopped down to watch some crappy reality TV show, American Idol most likely, the horror I'd experienced hours earlier was forgotten. That is, until 4 a.m. came around. I woke up to screaming. Not the kind of screaming you'd hear in response to being shocked or frightened, but this kind of shrill, wailing shriek that denotes only one clear emotion: loss. I distinctly remember thinking that our beloved Shetland sheepdog Cassie had died. As I groggily stumbled down the hallway, my sluggish mind began to piece together the situation. My sister had her back pressed against the wall, sliding down it, fetal, her face in her hands. My mum, crying inconsolably, babbling incomprehensible words through a film of tears and snot and saliva. My dad, standing in the doorframe, shaking uncontrollably, muttering in dangerous low tones at two sombre-faced policemen. My brother, only 23 years old, had been driving home from work as a bartender in a neighbouring community. It had been raining torrentially. The road was one of those serpentine, meandering swathes of asphalt inherent to the ritzier parts of Long Island, and there had been a tree in the wrong place at the wrong time. After his tyres skidded through a slick downpour, my brother lost control of his car, and it wrapped around a tree on the side of the road, crushing him. After the events of October 29th, 2009, I have yet to tell any of my family the vision I saw. I wouldn't know how to start that conversation. I don't know what it means, and I'm not sure I want to understand. Despite being a bartender, my brother's toxicology report came back clean. No alcohol, no drugs, nothing. Just the rain, just a tree, just a shadow rushing up the stairs. I think something killed my brother.